Boom! Good
What's up, guys?
Afternoon/evening, everyone. Welcome to the live show with the Outdoors crew. And it's been a Monday for most of us, so you'll hear about that. Gentlemen up here on the panel, we got our names in the corner right below us, right? AJ Outdoors. We got Grant McIntosh. We got Stanley Orchard over there. We got Steve Holland Ash Outdoors down here. And gentlemen, how has your Monday been? And if you want to, talk about your weekend.
Well, I'm not on call, so cheers.
Oh, cheers to that.
Yep.
Not on call no longer.
I had a pretty busy Monday, but not on call anymore. So 2 weeks is over.
Sweet.
Thankful for that.
A lot of background noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's on my end. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to mute up. Steve, let's get to you and then get to me. Let me get this audio stuff taken care of.
Oh, we can't get to me yet because we got to be 2 minutes into the live stream before I start swearing, right?
No. Yeah. So don't swear. Stretch it out. Stretch it out, Steve.
Oh, it's a Monday. It's a typical Monday. Busy. And really, that's about all I dare say right now.
So is your boss an a-hole?
Oh, man, that guy is a peach. He lets me go fishing anytime I want to. He's a great guy.
Those that don't know, Steve is self-employed, so he can't get mad at the boss because, well, he is the boss. You know what I mean?
Savvy wants to step in and say hi real quick.
Hi.
You got to. They can't see you.
We can't see you.
How's your Monday been?
There she is.
There's a fish slayer.
We tried this weekend. We went out. We did a little bit of fishing. We took her friend out to the beach for the first time. First time she'd been to the beach in years. And, we were all prepared to do a family deal with it. And I was expecting much better, weather conditions and stuff. We get out there and just got totally skunked. The conditions were just not working for us at all. But it was kind of okay. It was like, we were out at the beach with some friends that we didn't get to hang out with too much. It was the first time we'd had a chance to go to the beach with them. So it was like, you know what? I'm okay with this. If you guys haven't seen the weather, we're being blessed with, that once a year kind of weather later this week. And I was like, you know what? We're going to do a family deal on this one. We're not going to. It didn't even touch the camera. We're just going to enjoy our time, and I'll get my video film later.
Sweet. Sometimes you got to do that. Just go out, enjoy yourselves, do what you do, and get the video at a different time. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. Who we got in the house already? We got Wild Game Pursuit. Justin Randall's in here. Let's get some more folks in here. If you don't mind, folks, share it out. Let folks know we're live right now. We got a lot to talk about. At least I have a lot to talk about. And apparently Steve Hall and Ash has a lot to talk about. My weekend was, well, what Stanley didn't say about our weather is it's freaking hot and getting hotter, right? It's going to be a hot week. It was a very warm weekend. I did get out. I finished the fuel system upgrade or repair on the boat. That's one thing that I'm super happy about. That sucker's purring like a kitty cat. So I got some other work. I had to pull new lines, electrical lines, lighting for the trailer, which is never fun to do, especially this trailer is boxed frame and the lines are inside the box frame. So they're kind of a pain in the butt. They're not the clip-on I-frame type that a lot of boats have. But I'm excited because I'm planning to get that boat on the water here in the next few days to run her and do a little fishing, make a little video, have a little fun. It's going to be in the morning, though, because by noon it is too hot for man or beast, or at least me, out here in South Texas. So that's what's going on for me. What about? I can never ask Steve if he plans to go fishing because we all know it's the same answer every week. I don't.
I'm just going to tell you no. I got no plans to go fishing other than need to get with Justin Randall, who's on the chat, and Grant, and see what works out to get Grant to come up here and go fishing with Justin Randall.
Ooh.
But as far as myself, any fishing plans, actually, I don't have any. And Chris and I were talking about that just yesterday. It's like we really right now don't feel like going out on the Great Lakes fishing. We would much rather go find some little lake and maybe try for some crappie or bluegill or something like that. But we have no plans.
Mix it up. But that means he'll be gone fishing tomorrow, probably. That's how it works. Yeah, because he's his own boss, so he'll just give himself the day off and go fishing. So
actually, I do have tomorrow off, but I've got to go spend the day over to my dad's. He's got this long list of things. You know, he's 96 years old, and thank God he's still with us and he's still keeping busy. But a lot of that busy means that Steve has to do the busyness. So I was over there tonight and wrote out the checks, paid the bills and all that stuff. And he said, well, when are we going to get to that roof over top of the gas tank? I said, tell you what, Dad, I'll be over tomorrow. So tomorrow.
Sweet.
You know, I respect and appreciate that you do that. Anybody in the chat, if you're not familiar, the work that Steve is referring to with his dad, you can see a lot of that on his channel, John Deere Addict. It's one of the first channels that commented there. If you take a look at the chat, and it's pretty cool stuff he has on there. That is my personal opinion on that. I think that's invaluable. That's one of the most important things to us on our channel. I try to make it artsy, and I try to do what I can because I'm trying to blow up just like everybody else. But that having been said, at the end of the day, 10 years from now, if I don't make another dime on this channel, it will have served its purpose in having all of these memories and everything with Savannah and the rest of my family. That's the real value that we get out of it, and you're getting that with John Deere.
Stanley, that's exactly right. And we talked about this before as far as should I branch off and do another channel, and it's like maybe not a good idea. But I went ahead, I pulled an audible and I went ahead and did what I wanted to do anyway, and that's what spurred that was that same thing you said. We're making memories. That's the only reason that I ever started hauling ash, and I want to do as much as I can do. Granted, I can't go do something with my dad every day. Can't go take him to a tractor show or do another one of those, show me what's in your shop type of thing. But part of that John Deere Addict channel, the reason for starting that was exactly what you touched on, was to have the memories when Dad's gone and I'm gone. The next generation, if YouTube is still around, our family can see that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't care about making a dime on it. I don't even care. This, I said this before on the Haul and Ash channel. I don't care if I ever got monetized, but y'all talked me into it, and I'm glad that you did. But really, I don't ever see John Deere Addict ever getting to any kind of a status that it'll get monetized. It's just making memories.
I'll disagree with you on that. We have a guy, we actually need to talk about having him on here sometime because he's a great guy. Hamiltonville Farm. The farm channels are popular, and he's very reflexive of that. That dude blew up. I was at one point, we all had more subscribers than him. He's blown up. He just crossed 100,000. And I'm, it's farming. Farming is a popular niche. So I think you got a lot of potential with that one.
Real quick, Justin, sorry to hear that about your mom. Understand that you might have to make the trip down to Florida, and just like these guys were just saying, family first, right?
Sorry to hear that, Justin.
Yeah. Danny Baker, I think chasing subs, it's okay to ask people in your videos to sub and all that. You want to do that, but you're right. It's more about just putting it out, at least for me, putting out the videos for people to enjoy, for my family to see. When I'm 80 years old, my grandkids are grown, they have something they can go back and look at, and look, hey, dang, old ass grandpa, he used to throw down on the fish, that kind of stuff. So That's always cool. Unthinkable says, do y'all think it's still going to be down the line in a few years? I'm not sure. I think I missed a comment there because I'm not
I think
sure.
he's talking about YouTube. At least that's how I answered.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it might change, but I don't think YouTube's going to die. My personal opinion. The Bullock Experience.
Yeah, exactly right. Bullock Experience says that's the reason why his channel is called what it is. To let everybody see the experiences that he does in his area. I mean, I couldn't come up with a name for my channel. I was sitting there thinking about it for the exact same reason. I wasn't smart enough or clever enough to come up with something like Hall and Ash. So, like Hall and Ash.
I love that shirt, man.
Oh, look at that shirt. Where can we get those?
Oh, I'm too damn cheap to buy them for you guys. I don't know where Stanley bought his. But I love it.
I made it. I sat there like a goober. I sat there just with a paintbrush painting it in one day.
There you go.
Looks good. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, so
I'll be wearing it on a fishing trip here soon enough.
I know Steve says, he doesn't have any plans to fish, but then he's going to fish. We know that. And Stanley, you got some decent weather coming up, brother. You got some decent conditions. What do you got planned coming up based on those conditions you got down there at the coast?
We experience this about once a year, twice a year, 3 times if we're lucky, but it is this time of year when we see it, where the wind dies down enough and the currents are still kind of kicking, but basically the wind has died down enough for a long enough period that the surf is flat. We're looking at 1 foot surf for the entire rest of the week until Saturday. That's magical. Like, that does not happen down here. What happens when that does occur is the water gets super, super clear. If I can get 6 to 8 foot visibility, which is rare, but that means I can go spearfishing. After 1 week, with how the weather conditions or how the water clarity was last weekend, if I get a full week of just 1 foot surf and the currents aren't kicking too heavy, it's possible we get upwards of 12 to 15 foot visibility, which is just magical looking. That's where you get the really good spearfishing stuff. I haven't told my family about this. We are talking about going camping, and with the conditions, there is a shipwreck down Padre Island that I have been dying to go spearfishing on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about dragging them down all the way to the end of Padre Island National Seashore. Haven't been since high school, but I'm thinking about dragging them all the way down there, doing some camping and spearfishing that shipwreck.
Nice. That would be sweet. I know where you're talking. It's way down there.
Been wanting to do that for years.
Yeah.
Is the shipwreck steel or like a wooden schooner type of a shipwreck?
It's steel. It's an old transport vessel. They used to haul cotton down to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And it wrecked in a hurricane. And back in the late 1800s. So it's an old one.
So Stanley, are those conditions going to last through the weekend? Danny's asking.
From what I've seen, and I checked it today, but I didn't really look at the weekend. I was focused on the week. It's supposed to be 1 foot all the way until Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday afternoon. I forget which one, but it's going to drop down to like absolutely flat overnight. Then on Friday, it's going to start picking up to 1 to 2 foot. Saturday is going to be 2 to 3 foot. I don't know what Sunday is. So it's the end of the week. It's going to start picking up again. That doesn't mean, you know how it is. Like it picks up 2 to 3 foot on Saturday. That means that you probably have Saturday morning. You can go out to the Port A jetty or Packer Channel, one of those, probably get some spearfishing done. As the water starts to cloudy up, if it calms down again on Sunday, obviously that'll come back. But how often does that happen?
Yeah, and the weekend forecast by Wednesday, it could change. It could be better. It could be worse, but it could be better. So it's really the forecast down there because, I got to watch it because I'm traveling a little ways to get down there. But I'll look at one day, it's like, well, Saturday's a horrible day. And then 3 days later, dang, Saturday looks perfect. And Sunday's a horrible day. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep an eye on it.
So you're going to the coast this weekend, John? Is that what you're saying?
No, I am not going to the coast this weekend. So I got the boat running, right? That video, the fuel system video, will probably be out next week because I still got a lot of editing to do on it. It's going to be a big one, but it's going to be more than just, hey, I fixed my fuel system. I'm going to show folks how to get the parts, how to find the part numbers they need, if you have a Mercury, of course. So it's going to be a little bit bigger. But what I am saying is I need to run my boat. Did we all freeze up, or is it just me?
No,
Just so you're
good on my end.
Okay. I need to run it. So I'm going to run to Calaveras Lake on Thursday. I'm off Thursday, which is middle of the week, so it shouldn't be too bad with all the other folks. And instead of fishing for catfish, which I usually hunt on Calaveras, I'm going to go after some reds because they got red drum in that lake. And I'm going to see what I can catch out there. So that's Thursday morning from I'll probably get there 6:30ish. First light, I'll be on the water. I'll probably be done fishing by 11:30, 12, and get the heck out of there before it gets too hot. That's my plans so far.
I have never done that lake. I really want to do that one sometime.
Someday you need to come up and do it.
Yep. I have a strong desire to take over Canyon Lake first and foremost. Of course, we got Choke Canyon right in my backyard.
Yeah. When's the last time you've been to Canyon? It's been at least a year, right?
Canyon Lake was 2 years ago this August. Yeah.
Guess what? It has changed a ton.
Really?
Yes. Canyon Lake, it's basically a canyon that was dammed. It filled up. So it's a bunch of rocks, right? Deep water and very clear. Well, all of a sudden, it's got that hydrola in it. And this stuff, areas where we used to fish, you can't even fish because it's grown all the way to the surface. And now it's been a few months since I've been there, but Joel Willis, my buddy, he was out there like 2 weeks ago, and he said he thinks the lake is about 70% full of hydrola. So really changing where and how you can fish that lake. So I'm hoping they do something about it, but I have heard nothing about it.
I assume there's some potential that will maybe help increase the fish that are available, maybe help them get a little bit bigger.
It could. I mean, it gives bait fish a place to hide, to populate. It gives the fry someplace to hide, but it makes it a lot more difficult to fish if you're used to fishing it the way it was before. It was already a tough lake to fish, but I think that makes it more difficult. It'd be a neat place to snorkel though with all that, because you could snorkel the edge of the hydrola and see what's moving in and out of it, stuff like that. That would probably be pretty
That's where I got my scuba certification, was that lake.
Oh, yeah? Okay. So that would be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, Justin's asking, do you really trust the weatherman on a forecast 5 days out? That's why you got to keep watching. The problem is for those folks that are planning a trip, a month out, you're going to be there those days, no matter what the weather is. So it is what it is. Grant, you got anything planned coming up?
No, I don't have anything set in stone, but we're definitely going to try to get out this week. But it's going to have to be late, like you said. It's hot. We've had 95, feels like 104, 105.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go out late Friday night or Saturday night.
See, I don't know. Well, it's weird in Texas. Anywhere I've been, usually the hottest time of the day is like noon to 2 o'clock or whatever. Texas, the hottest time of the day is like 4 or 5 p.m. and it stays hot until after the sun goes down. So evening fishing, miserable. If you're going to fish, either do it in the middle of the night when it's dark out, or do it first thing in the morning when it's only in the 70s, before it jumps up like that. It's just a whole different than any place I've been before as far as high temp.
That's the whole thing that kicked me into spear fishing in the first place when I was a kid. I started at about 10 years old, and the reason I started doing that is because we'd go offshore, we'd go fishing, go out in the boat, and it was just so hot, so muggy, tepid, just steamy out there. And like you said, 4 o'clock rolls around, and if you get a really nice day when you're going offshore, that means you don't have any wind. If you don't have any wind, you're sitting on that boat and you're just cooking in the sun. So spearfishing is an opportunity to jump in the water and cool off. And that's how, I look forward to spearfishing when I was 10, 12 years old. And that's exactly why. It's just to get in the water and just get away from it.
And that can make a difference, even if you're fishing, from a boat. Like Canyon Lake's a good example. You go up there and fish, and then all of a sudden it gets hot as crap. You can jump in the water and cool off. That water up there stays cool because it's a deep water lake, right? Versus where I'm going Thursday, Calaveras is a cooling plant, is a electrical plant, right? It's a cooling lake, so that water gets hot. It can be hotter than it is outside, right? So there's no jumping in that water to cool off. Typically, it's warmer than what you're already in. So
that sucks. But that makes it better for winter.
It makes it better for winter, and it makes it better. That's the reason they can put redfish in there, because it has the right mineral makeup and it stays warm for redfish to survive. The only thing, the redfish, my second largest redfish I ever caught was out of Calaveras. It was 36 inches. They just can't spawn there. So they're continuously stocked. So that's why you don't have the same size requirements. Like redfish here in Texas, 20-inch minimum, 28-inch max. Over 28, you got to tag them. You got one tag on your license, you can keep that one. On that lake, 20-inch minimum, it don't matter how big it is after that, you can keep it, as many as you want. So that's one of the differences. Hooked Up and Backlash in the house. That's one of our local San Antonio folks. Good to see you here.
Yeah, we got NBA.
Yes, he is.
What's up, NBA?
Danny mentions like in Cozumel a few years ago, the wife and I went on a cruise, and that was one of the places we stopped, and that's what I wanted to do. So we went snorkeling in Cozumel, and also there was another port that we stopped at. But Cozumel, Stanley, is it Cozumel or Cozumel? I've heard it pronounced both ways.
I say Cozumel, but I say a lot of things ring.
Yeah, it's however you want to say it.
Yeah,
and we did the same. I don't do cruises. I don't want to be on a big boat floating around with a bunch of people. So we went to Cozumel.
We did it.
Yeah, good job. We went to Cozumel and stayed there, like Stanley has multiple times. And we went out. It was pretty cool, to be honest with you. We went out on a fishing trip. We had another couple with us. Caught my first mahi-mahi out there. We caught a bunch of other different fish. The other couple were both seasick, off on the whole time. So that first half of the trip was fishing. Second half of the trip, they took us to this reef and we snorkeled, right? And that area is just beautiful. The water is super clear. So we got to see a bunch of stuff. And then they took us to the sandbar where all these boats park in, typical sandbar fashion. Everybody's partying, and they've got all these stingrays swimming around. They're cleaning the fish. They made us some ceviche. They're handing us, there's all kinds of beer and liquor and sandwiches. It was just an awesome trip, right? So, and I don't remember how much it was, but I know it was a quarter of what you pay here in the States to do something similar to that. If you went out and just fished with somebody here in the States, it would cost as much as that day did, where we fished, snorkeled, and did the sandbar action. So if you get to Cozumel, I recommend staying there for a few days, like a week or at least 4 days, and go out and actually hire a boat captain to take you out and fish and do all that stuff. It's worth it.
And also rent a car or dune buggy or whatever and go to the other side of the island.
Okay. Look, Stanley, that's the one point I'm going to disagree with you with. We got to that airport, and since we were staying at a resort there, they kind of shuttled us through everything real quick. But we get to one point, and this guy's like, "Hey, I can rent you a car, and this is $100." And I'm like, "No, they're going to give us a ride." We get in this shuttle and start heading towards the resort, and the traffic was maddening. Zoom, zoom, zoom. There might be stop signs, but nobody stops unless they feel like it. And all these little.
Oh, you're talking about in town?
Yeah, racing.
Yeah, that traffic is that is a different ball game. Driving down there.
Thank God I didn't rent that vehicle, because I would have killed people, or people would have killed me.
Yeah. You do got to be careful about that. That is a different ball game. It's a different world, and the rules for insurance are different down there. You have to be owner of a vehicle in order to drive it legally down in Mexico. Wow. You don't realize that when you're renting a car. What you're actually doing is you just purchased that car.
for that time period.
For a short amount of time. Now, insurance gets you all taken care of. You never hear any stories about that, but that's still how the law works. But you in town driving down there, yeah, that's a different ballgame. That's those guys. I've seen people cram 5-6 people on a scooter.
Yeah, it's
refrigerators and stuff.
But you need to go and experience that. You know, that is quite the experience.
The cruise line that we went on owned an island. I think it was Royal Caribbean is who we, it was. Royal Caribbean is who we went with. And they owned an island. So we went out snorkeling. And after we got done snorkeling, we went to that island. They had, like you were saying, food, drinks. It was a great time.
Nice.
Yep.
Milton versus Cancer's in the house.
Hey, Milton, how are you doing, man?
Mark J.
Appreciate
Larson
you stopping by.
Outdoors. A lot of folks coming by. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Actually, Mr. Milton, I apologize. I forget what country you're from, but he's down south of the border.
South
he knows,
America, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like Guatemala or something.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Guatemala sounds familiar. He'll let us know. He'll let us know. So
we're talking about the Yucatan at the moment. Grant, have you ever been down that way? Have you done that?
No, farthest south I've been Texas.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, because the second any one of us makes it in any kind of fashion on YouTube, the first thing we are doing is we're all going to Cozumel. That's the first big YouTube paycheck. That's how it's getting spent.
I'm down.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to get some vaccine, I'm good.
You're probably going to have to, but the alcohol will be worth it.
Yeah, just drink a lot. That's all.
No to the vaccine.
So, looking a little further into the future. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Mike.
WTF Mike, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to jump in on that one.
Stuck behind a commercial one. Oh, yeah. Them commercials will get you when you jump in here. That's for sure. So, jumping forward a little bit in the future, October. We've talked about October. We haven't talked about it since the last live stream, I think. Here's the deal, okay? We're talking about the Texas coast. We're talking about Padre Island National Seashore, basically. Could be anything down there. But me and Audrey, our plan is to rent a camper, pull it behind the truck, down the beach, 18 miles-ish, and set up to fish from, we're heading down October 7th, and we're leaving that Sunday. I don't know, 7th is a Thursday, 8th, so 10th or so-ish, or Monday. We're leaving Monday. So it's Thursday through Monday of that weekend. We'll be there. If anybody wants to come down and say, hey, hang out, do some surf fishing with us, come down. I hope Grant and Janet can make it. I would be shocked if Stanley Orchard can't make it. Right?
Oh yeah, I'll be there. In fact, I can up the ante on that one a bit.
Oh, he's up in the ante, folks. So we want to try to get together down there. I don't know. I know it's a long ways for Steve, so I don't know if Steve's going to be able to make that trip. But anybody else in the chat, right? If you're down there, if you're in Texas and you want to go to the beach and you want to run into us and fish with us during that time frame, come on down, right? It's an open invitation. No, we're not going to provide your lodging and food and all that, but we'll be there. If you want to come and hang out, come on down the beach and we'll hang out. How's that sound?
I think we could also do and not that anybody's going to be staying up late at night or anything like that. We can also, however, probably put together a bonfire and, maybe cook some marshmallows and have some beer and stuff like that around a bonfire. It's one of the unique things that you can do here on Padre Island.
For sure.
And anybody who is interested in doing that, I have a buddy who does have an Airbnb house in Aransas Pass. Nice. It's not Port Aransas. That is probably a 10-minute drive on a good day from Aransas Pass to Port Aransas.
Yeah.
course, you'd have to drive down the island after that. So it's not the most, the best spot, but it is a possibility.
Yep.
And anything that we can do to, obviously, like John was saying, we can't put up houses for everybody, but we can definitely put you in the right direction as far as the things that you need to be doing. And if there's anything we can do to help point you in the right direction for a place to stay, we got your back on that.
Yeah, if this thing gains some traction with folks other than the four of us, we can set up a messenger group, the beach raid of 2021 or whatever you want to call it, so that we can share it for those like Stanley's been down the beach a lot. He knows what kind of equipment you should have, right?
I've got the equipment. You just come down there.
There you go. So, but if you want to bring some stuff like for your vehicle to get unstuck and that kind of stuff, right? We can share that kind of information in the group so that folks who drive down, know what they should and shouldn't do and shouldn't bring, right? Again, this is if we're 18 miles down the beach, that's how far we are away from anything, and so you bring your water, you bring your food, right? You bring some. Whatever you think your vehicle might need in that 18 miles, I bring a compressor to put air in tires. I bring a patch kit, right, to patch tires if they get a hole. Bring a shovel if you got to dig out if the sand gets deep, right? So there's all those little things you think about because you're going to be out there. The good thing is, though, we have a group. We can rely on each other, right? Somebody 18 miles, that's 13 miles beyond the two-wheel drive area, but it depends on the conditions. There's conditions where I'm 18 miles down the beach and there's Toyota Celicas driving by, right? It could just be that easy to drive. It just depends on the conditions.
Now, I don't agree with that because you can do that in a Celica at low tide. That doesn't mean you can do it at high tide. But I would say, and I'm curious, Grant and Steve, I'm curious because I know this area, but I'm curious if you guys have anything like this in your area. This you can go like Padre Island, in my opinion, is unique in that you can drive probably 60 miles away from civilization. Like there is no cell phone reception at the end of that journey. There is no gas station. You're 60 miles from a gas station. I believe it's 60 miles. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
From the bottom,
from the gas station at like Whitecap to Mansfield Pass.
Yeah, at least 60.
Yeah. So I mean, you are absolutely out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't know another place in America. Maybe Nevada. I don't know. Maybe it's some of the mountains or something. Is there a place where you can drive 60 miles without seeing civilization, without cell phone signal or anything? Like what's
no Wi-Fi? Yeah. There's nothing. You can take your shoot video down there, but you ain't gonna post nothing.
Yeah, you can't live stream like that. That ain't gonna happen.
No, you ain't got nothing down there. So, but that's the beauty of it. You can completely disconnect from society and just wherever you're at with whoever you're with, just hang out. And it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go watch some videos. You can't. You're not gonna watch videos on your phone, right? So. That's the beauty of it, I think. That's what I like about it. We'll go down 18 miles. There'll still be, like, if we're going on Thursday, won't see a lot of traffic. But Friday and Saturday, there'll be people driving by us, right? Heading south. They're going further down the beach, right? Like he was saying, all the way down to Port Mansfield, 60 miles, 65 miles, whatever it is, to the very end, as far as you can go. So, yeah, Texas, Mike, come on down. And thank you again. Appreciate it.
Well,
you and Mr. Stanley Orchard.
Our anniversary is on October the 11th, so well, we should be able to make it.
That would be an awesome. And Grant, on the side we can talk about, but so we're leaving here our house on the 7th, right, which is Thursday. If you roll down before that, you got a place to stay here and roll with us on Thursday morning if you want, and then going home. Right? Whether you leave before us or you leave with us or after us coming back, we can give you a code. And again, you got a place to spend the night, get a good shower, relax and all that before you get on the road to head back home here in San Antonio. So that's my offer to you.
Sweet. Sounds good.
That's also a really pretty time of year. Down here, the weather gets decent. Like we'll be, 80s, low 90s.
Yeah.
The wind won't be terrible. And like Danny's saying, the water, like we might, I'm not, obviously not talking about us going all the way down to Mansfield Pass or South Padre Island, but the water clarity gets fairly decent.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are killing me with these. Thank you again, Mr. Stanley Orchard. It's a battle.
You have to read the messages.
I'm reading them and they're
funny. Because Mike's an asshole.
Yeah.
What's up, Brewdog? Cheers.
Cheers, Brewdog. Thank you for coming in. Live in Minnesota. How you doing? You've been here, I know, for a minute already. Steve.
You know what I just saw?
Is there any chance, Steve, that you're going to roll down here in October or no?
Probably not. There's several reasons why. Independently employed. I'm busy. Got no vacation time. Number two, it's also our anniversary in October 6th, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
But I would love, you guys don't know how much I would love to come down there. I really would. I want to go somewhere different that I've never been, and Texas would definitely be there. But I just, at this point in time right now, don't see myself packing up to go anywhere in October.
All right.
I got two things on that. I'm sorry. I've got two things to throw into the mix here, which makes this a very interesting endeavor. October 8th through the 10th is Sharkathon.
Oh, we'll be there during. Oh my!
I would love to have my outdoors crew as the Sharkathon team.
Might as well. We're going to be there.
Like, how awesome would that be? I mean, that means I'm camping out at the beach. That doesn't mean anyone else has to camp out, but that means there's going to be a party on the beach during Sharkathon. Also, Steve, I have limited resources. However, I also have construction work that needs to be done on the house. And if I can hire somebody to help me do that while I'm running Sharkathon or, surrounding those dates, I can put you to work at least a little.
Me too. It could be a working vacation. I got shit that needs to be done too.
Oh, my. Yeah. Well, only thing I can tell you guys is that I will keep it in my mind and talk to Judy about it and see if there's if it's possible. Who knows? I can't say for right now for anything, but I appreciate it, guys. I really do. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. Dang, Mike just got you, Stanley. Holy smokes. I had to drink to that twice.
Big boy panties today until his wife wants them back. Oh, it's getting cruel in here.
It's getting brutal.
Cheers.
Sunfish assassin in the house.
So, Mark J. Larson. True story. I got married October of 97. I didn't start bow hunting until October of 98. That's why I got married in bow season.
That's funny because you all have met Steve, right? Leonard's son-in-law. And you all know, like Grant, he's a big time hunter. I mean, when they decided to get married, he told her, we can't get married. First of all, he works his ass off all summer, right? He's on the roads. So there's no getting married during the summer. They got married in February because deer season's done all. So we had to travel to freaking Michigan in February to attend their wedding. So, yeah, that's how hardcore he is about his hunting. So, yeah. Oops. I meant to do a 10:01. That's all right, Stanley. It's still good. It's all good.
It's a typo.
Yeah. When we were going to get married, Judy wanted a spring wedding. She wanted a spring wedding, and I knew that wasn't going to work because I was, on the family farm, and there wasn't a single day that you weren't busy doing something. And so I mentioned it to Dad, and he says, "Oh no, hey, that's cabin season, that's spring planning. Well, how about this time in the summer? Oh no, we got hay to bale, got stuff to combine." Finally, it was October, and I said, "We're going to get married in October." And my dad said, "Oh, you can't do that. It's bean harvest." I don't care. I'm going to get married because there's never a day that works out on a farm that you can just take off and go. So we went October 6th, went down to Florida for a week, came home, and the beans were still there when I got there.
Yeah, they were. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Mike. You're killing me. You're killing me, brother. Cheers, guys.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
No, he got you. He got you good. Woo. All right, so YouTube,
Mike, I love you, Mike.
One of those YouTube things for us and the audience that are want to be YouTubers. Stanley, what did you find this week? You shared with us something about supers or whatever. You want to tell us a little bit about what that is and where people can go to figure that out?
That's an experimental thing that YouTube they've been playing with that for a year now, and they're finally putting it into beta. And it turns out I've got a couple of beta features that I did not know about. I was talking to another guy about that a couple of days ago, and I'm excited that they're like letting me in on some of that beta stuff because I requested that a while back and I didn't have it, and all of a sudden I've got like weird features. But one of them is that you can do. It used to be called applause when they were testing it, and now they're calling it super something super.
I don't know.
I forget. I got it right here. In any event, it's basically like how Mike and I down in the chat down here are doing a little battle with the super chats. You can now do the same thing on a regular video. If somebody puts out a video that you're like, oh man, this guy needs to be making more videos. If you experience something like that, you will now have the ability to tip them. Super tip, maybe that's what it's called. I forget. But you have the ability of doing a little thing, and I think it shows up as like a sticker or something on the video itself. Of course, the creator is going to see it; they're going to be notified. But I think other people can see it. You get a special, like if you leave a comment, you get a special little thing in the comments that happen down below. I haven't gotten any, but I've heard about this. Obviously, TubeBuddy is they've explained some of this stuff to me for other people who are in beta for the prior year.
Very cool. So now, like you said, what you guys are seeing in the chat right now between him and Mike, they're doing super chats. It basically you can do that on a regular video. Like he said, somebody's video is awesome. You go into comments, it gives you the option to do just like they just did. But he also said it's out there in beta mode. Not everybody's got it. I know Steve checked to see if he had it. He didn't have it. I checked to see if I had it. I didn't have it.
Super Thanks is what it's called.
Super Thanks. Grant, did you check to see if you had it?
I was looking right now. I can't find it anywhere.
So it's under monetization, and then there's tabs when you go to monetization, and one of them is super. When you click that tab, if you don't have it, it'll tell you right there, oh, sorry, you don't qualify, but we're putting it out, and everybody's going to get it someday.
Yep. Another one, and you know what? I'm kind of stoked about this. I'm going to be just straight up honest about this. They're also doing, you guys who use TubeBuddy, they have the milestones, like this thing behind me right here, for our 1,000 subscribers.
Right.
So TubeBuddy started that whole thing a while back, and YouTube is now copying it. They're putting out achievements of their own. That is also an experimental. That is not something that's out yet, but that one's going to get passed. People love that thing. So
cool. So Ben, you missed a lot, brother, but hang around with us for the rest of the show.
Hey, what's up, Ben? Peter?
Peter, it's good to see you. Mike? Let Stanley read them comments from Mike. It's awesome. What?
Peter said he just noticed he was unsubscribed from the channel and that he resubscribed. Peter, you should do that like 3 or 4 times. Help bump this guy's numbers.
How were you unsubscribed, Peter? All you gotta do is watch a video and give a thumbs up and comment, man.
Right. And then make sure that you do it on an odd number day when it's cloudy outside. And you want to swipe over when you...
That's key.
I'm kidding.
That is key. Oh, man.
For anybody who's not in the loop, so YouTubers, you've seen it. You've seen it where they have to say, please like and subscribe, share my video, leave a comment, and slap that notification button, but do the all notifications, because if you do the regular notifications, you're not going to get a notification. You have to get the all notifications. So the joke is that anybody who does YouTube, obviously you have to lead any viewer through like this long chain of events in order to get them to, stay subscribed.
That is true.
It's comical.
So another thing, YouTube-ish, or at least video-ish, real quick. So Stanley is the master of slow-mo, if you guys have noticed in his recent videos and in Steve's recent videos, because he gave Steve some slow-mo to use. And then Steve now is he's like trying to master the slow-mo.
Not as good as that.
Stepping on my toes.
To me, yeah, right. To me, I've done slow-mo, and it's always just been in production, right? When I'm producing my video and I can slow it down or speed it up. What I didn't realize is your frame rate affects how good it looks when you do that. Now, a lot of my video is 4K 60, so I can slow it down at least half the speed.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It still looks okay. But now I'm learning with this Hero 9 I've got, I can do 1080p 240. So I could like make it boringly slow and super clear. So for those, our fellow YouTubers out there, okay, if you can, in your production, whatever software you use, you can usually speed and slow stuff down, right? Speed up, slow down. It looks better if you shoot in a higher frame rate, so 60, right, or above. And the real challenge to that is if you're doing low light stuff. If you're doing low light and you're shooting in 60 or above, typically it starts getting grainy and not looking good, okay? So just understand that.
Stanley, on that subject, because you are the master of slow-mo, and I'm trying to follow down your path. When I did my grandson's video, he was playing t-ball, and in slow motion, he took the swing. You could see it hit the ball, and the ball had a bunch of chalk on it. You could just see that chalk fly out and the ball. But I had to zoom in order to do that, and I didn't. When I was watching the video, it's like it really didn't capture it. So I'm guessing that you don't really want to zoom in order to do slow-mo. You lose something with that.
I zoom in anyway, but I'll tell you the trick. The quality might not be as good. I don't care. I'm on YouTube. I'm not on Netflix yet. but yeah, I do what I can. I do it all with the cell phone. The slow motion stuff, like John said, I do it with the and everybody has it on like a phone that's been released in the last 3 or 4 years. They have the option on the camera where you can switch over to slow motion or hyperlapse or fast motion or whatever the differences are. That the key on that is anything that moves really fast looks awesome in slow motion. Like water, a splash, fireworks, things like that look really awesome in slow motion. And things that move slow, like clouds, look really awesome in the hyperlapse and the time speed thing. You know what I mean?
Time lapse.
So that's something that I'm always mindful of. Is I'm looking at something, if it's moving really fast, I want to catch it in slow mo, and vice versa.
Nice. Very nice.
And I'm not sure that they have on my camera, and I use an S10, so that's 3-4 years ago now. 3 years ago, I guess, is when that came out. I have the slow motion option, which I believe is like 120 frames per second. But I mean, you're really making some large files. Like I only record for like 3 seconds when I do those. They also have a super slow mo, and this was something that Apple did first, and it's now something that you find on the newer phones. Like it's all over the place now. If you have something like an S20 and S21. But they have the super slow-mo under different names, and that records at 512 frames per second. So we're talking about recording, not bullets, but something just shy of a bullet, Yeah. Super slow motion at 512, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, that is sick. That's a good rule of thumb. Danny Baker saying 60 frames per second for slow-mo, 30 for regular footage.
That's what I follow.
I still shoot 60 for regular footage if it's a nice sunny day, right? I think it still looks good, and then you can slow-mo what you want, because sometimes you just shoot footage, and then you're like, oh, that'd be cool slow-mo. If I shot it in 30, it's hard to slow-mo and it still look good, but if I shot it in 60, I know I can at least, cut the speed in half. That looks pretty good.
Peter brings up a hell of a point. 300 plus for slow-mo, yeah, I hear that. Now, I'm scared to do this, and I've tried it. Nobody noticed, whatever. But if you are a real filmmaker, if you have real aspirations of making stuff, you do it at 24 frames per second. Anybody else ever even experimented with that?
Nope, I've read and followed some of the pros that say that, but I've never experimented with it because I know it really limits you in production, right? You're not going to be able to slow any of that down and have good looking video. So I just haven't tried it. I'm not usually now so for me when I'm videoing because I'm trying to make a video, right? And it just seems like some of that stuff you need to go out there and practice it. And I just haven't found the time. Like with the drone, I practice, right? I need to practice a lot more to get better drone footage. Same thing here. Shoot it in these different modes and then mess with it in whatever you use to produce your videos. Slow it up, speed it down, see what it looks like. And I just haven't taken the time to do a lot of that.
So where do you find the settings for this 30 or 24 or whatever? Because when I go to slow-mo, it's just slow-mo. There's nothing that tells me what the speed is. How do you determine that?
That depends on what, like you're using an iPhone for one, as I recall. Is that right?
Yep.
So I do Android. I don't know if anybody in the chat can help him with that. If you use an iPhone, that would be greatly appreciated. I do Android, so it's going to be totally different.
Yeah, I'm Android too.
There's going to be a setting in there somewhere where you can change your camera settings to a different frame rate. 24 and 30, you are not going to see a difference until you really start getting into fine tuning the video work that you do. The difference that you'll see is when you are filming a video at 30 frames per second and you do this, you are going to see this.
Right.
If you do it at 24 frames per second, you're going to see that blur that happens with
and that looks
motion.
more natural. The blur looks more natural, and that's why people use 24.
It more cinematic, I think. I believe that 30 frames is more natural. 24 is more cinematic.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said the same thing.
Here's because somebody mentioned Hooked Up and Backlash mentioned settings on the camera, so I just went there. To record video, I'm at 1080p at 30 frames per second.
There you go.
In slow motion, I am 1080p at 240 frames.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Leave it alone.
Oh yeah. You got nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Now, hey, for those of you guys who are posting on YouTube, I'll give you a little insight on this. If you have the ability, the physical ability, and it's more commonplace now, but if you have the physical ability of publishing in 4K, regardless of whether that footage is actually 4K, if you can upload it as a 4K file, you will get preference with YouTube. You will get upload preference with YouTube. I can't say that that's the case with search and discovery, but it probably is.
Wow. And that's one of the things they keep denying is that 1080p, 4K, 5K, they have no preference. So that's a back channel news.
They absolutely do have a preference. They cannot argue. They do have a preference for uploads. 4K gets preference with uploads. I assume that's.
I've only uploaded one of my videos in 4K, and it took way longer than uploading a video in 1080p. So I haven't tried it again since. Just the duration.
Part of that is going to be the processing speed on YouTube's end.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that's going to be the upload, and that's going to be That's going to be your Wi-Fi, your signal, and everything like that. But the other part of that is once it's uploaded, who gets priority for processing on YouTube's end? 4K does.
Okay, that's nice to know. Because to be honest, from everything I'm seeing and hearing, and my own experience, looking at a video on YouTube, phone, iPad, computer, 1080p, 4K, you really don't see a difference. Now, when you throw that video up on your big screen TV that is 4K or above capable, that's where you start seeing, wow, that's really good. You might be able to see some difference. The future, yeah, it's 4K is probably the way. I've already got, like I said, my camera can shoot in 5K. Nobody's even talking hardly about 5K. So it's going. It's gonna, like everything else. Next step is everything's gonna turn into a 4K this or that, and then it'll grow from there. So you're ahead of the power curve if you upload now in 4K.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't. They've said it. They don't show a preference in search and discovery for 4K versus 1080, and for good reason. There are some good creators who make some good content at 1080. So they're not going to give you preference with 4K just because it's 4K.
Right.
You are going to get a 4K designation. People looking for that sort of thing are going to choose your video versus something else. So I don't think there's that much of a difference when it actually comes to that. But I can tell you that in the upload and processing department, 4K does get preference.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a big difference.
And personally, like I said, I do everything with my cell phone. I don't have any plans on changing that per se. However, if and when the time comes for an upgrade, I'm going 8K.
Yeah, because 4 years from now, that'll be the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure. It allows you to zoom in too on that section of screen without it looking ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, and that's 4K does that to a certain extent now, right? A lot of people. Even though they say 1080p is good enough for people watching on their phones like we're talking about, if you do it in 4K, it gives you that capability to zoom in on sections of it, and it looks better than if you did it in 1080p. But other than that, it's really, like I think Peter said it too, same thing I said. If you're watching on your cell phone, you really can't, tell the difference between 1080p and 4K.
Yeah. I think at that point you're going to have more issues with like bit rate and
storage.
Yeah, there's other things that come into play. Your editing software will come into play more of an issue on that.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, so my editing, so I edit, and then I go to produce, where it actually creates it. And if I'm doing that, the one time I did that in 4K, that took forever too, compared to 1080p. Yeah, like Peter said, it's a smaller file in 1080p. Be honest, for the next probably 3 years at least, maybe longer, you're good doing 1080p. If that's what you want to do. That's all I really do. I did that one 4K. It didn't make a difference to me, so 1080p. Adobe PP as a proxy when editing 4K. I don't. Hooked up in Backslash. Anybody got an answer for that? So I'm using CyberLink Power Director, and it does. I decide if I want to do 1080p, 4K, whatever. But he's talking about Adobe. Anybody use Adobe as their editing software?
Can you guys hear me? I just lost audio.
Yeah, we can hear.
Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Yep.
Mike, give me a thumbs up. See?
What's up, Weekend Warrior Outdoors? Justin, what's up, man?
You're right, Mike. It depends on your phone.
So we can hear Savvy too.
Yeah, we can hear Savvy. Can you hear me now?
I'm a weird villager.
Got loud.
Yeah, your volume's good. Your volume is good. Peter says he uses Adobe Premiere. And After Effects. Dang.
That's what I have is Adobe Premiere too, but I don't use that as much as I do the other one that I had before.
Adobe Premiere is supposed to be really, really good. I'm poor. I can't afford. I'm not self-employed, so I can't afford.
I'll send you it. I got it on a disc. I just downloaded it. I'll send it to you.
I'm good. I like, when you learn a certain software, it's hard. They're all similar, but they all got their little differences. So you kind of, typically, you learn one, you kind of stick with it.
Yeah.
We start with iMovie or whatever the Windows version is, and then you realize the limitations, and so you want to do better, and so that's when you go out and start purchasing something. You got this. Peter's telling Stanley, you got this.
I don't think Stanley's got it. I don't think he can hear us.
He can't hear us.
Well, I'm not sure. Mike says he'll give him a thumbs up. All right. Is he talking a thumbs up or a finger?
I'm just, we can all talk about Stanley now because he's flapping in the breeze. We were on a four-wheeling trip way back in the days when I was four-wheeling, and so we're all communicating on the CB. And one of the guys lost his ability to talk on. He could hear us, but none of us could hear him. So that was the go button. We all just started talking crap about him, and he couldn't defend himself. So that's kind of the boat Stanley's in right now.
Well, not only that, but we're after our 1 hour anyway. So
yeah, it is closing time. If anybody wants, hey guys on the panel, do you know sign language to sign to Stanley that it's closing time?
I say, it's over, son. It's over.
Closing. Hey, folks in the chat. Oh, he just jumped out anyways.
Yep.
Folks in the chat, thank you all for coming and visiting. Danny, Peter, Mike, all y'all. We appreciate you all. Hooked Up and Backlash. We'll continue this conversation next week. Next week, we're going to be at Grant. I think is it your turn, Grant, next week?
Yeah, unless Mr. Steve over here.
You guys,
he doesn't. Don't worry about Steve.
I can't do that.
All right, we'll be at Grant's house next time. Same time, we'll post the stuff on our social media. Please, when you see it, share it out so other folks can jump in and do it. And we're signing off now, Stanley. Welcome back, but we're closing down, brother. Can you hear me? He smiles.
Yeah, I can finally hear you.
All right, awesome. So, again, thanks, everybody, for showing up. We appreciate you. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. So, peace out.